taking the leap. Stories that'll make you laugh all week. Tune in now, let the fun explode. This is your stop, it's the Bruddc code.
This is the Bruddc code. What is up, good people? You're watching the Bruddc and Kitty show. Kitty, how we doing? It's Thursday. We're nearly through this week. What's going on? What's going on?
It's all good. It's all good here in Nottingham. The weather's absolute shite. Can I just say, sorry, hi Mum, because I know she's watching. my mum's in bed poorly, and she has been poorly for a while, and she keeps me, oh, I'm watching you, I'm watching you every day. So she's watching. So hi Mum, my little 4'11" mummy.
Yes, shout out to mummy. Shout out to mummy. I'll be commenting per usual, but doing my homework, washing up for dinner before bed. No worries, Claire. Shout out to you, Claire. Straight in at 3 o'clock. Look at that.
I know, she's a good girl. Do you know she's got a job? She's at college and she's got children. That's some absolute that woman.
Super mamas. We've got super mamas up in here.
Yeah, loving it. Loving it, babe.
So Kitty, you said you had a bit of a bee in your bonnet about this country being soft or something like that. What's going on? Let's get this bee off your bonnet.
Right. Firstly, I'm a patriot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of those patriots. I'm a patriot. I love this country. I am of Chinese heritage. I was born here. And if push comes to shove and we get invaded, I'll fight for this country.
Yep.
Right? Because I believe it's my job to show the generation that's up and coming that what we should do. I posted a video of Joe Rogan, and I can't remember the other guy's name, and I think I said this the other day. Can't remember his name. But he said, you've just got to watch the British because they are very, very quiet. But one thing they're very, very good at is war. And and Joe Rogan says, yeah, you've got to remember they conquered the world, which we did. And most of the comments, I would say 50% of the comments are, yeah, we're ready. Don't wake the lion. The lion's ready. And I am, go on. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. Come on, let's do this if we have to. Now, I'm not talking about going to war with Russia because I don't want to do that, if I'm really, really honest with you. I really don't fancy a Russian or Chinese war. Just my own personal opinion. But if you come to our country and you start invading us, I'm going to be on the White Cliffs of Dover making sure you don't come in. But there are so many in my comments that are going, no, not anymore. I wouldn't do it. Why should I fight for this entitled and sort of ungrateful next generation? And my point being, the fact that they are like that is probably because all their dads have walked out or their mums don't give a toss about them anymore. And nobody's showing them the way to be a great person and be patriotic and like the country and like the person that you are and be ready to stand up for. It just got me. It just really got me. And these people are so like, why should I fight? Why should I fight for this country?
Well, in this day and age where, where social media is ramp, you've got all the different podcasters, you've got all these really big, and you have really big knowledgeable people that are breaking down what's going on all over the world. And people are seeing it, and people are ultimately getting radicalized. One of the big things is, the chosen people, they control the whole world. That's getting pushed out there. And what's funny is they're getting almost getting mixed in with the so-called far right. I don't know how they've sort of tied themselves together a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. It seems there's a lot of dirty politics going on. There's a lot of my enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of stuff going on. Like to fight for, yeah, I know exactly. That's the thing, Claire, isn't it? Who are we fighting for and what are we fighting for? I think that's the most important thing. I feel like if we were generally aggrieved, someone done something heinous to us, I feel like a lot of people, we'd have to, if especially like if we would have to fight for something, but we just can't trust our governments anymore. Like, no. They've sold us out. And in their minds, they're more than happy to even make something happen, I want to say, to make us think, oh, yeah, we got to go to war now kind of thing. And I feel like that's where we are. But I feel like they're worried because people are so awake, and it could go either way. People could start rebelling. People could start getting in their own groups.
I understand that, and I take into consideration we were lied about the Iraq, the Iraq war. A lot of our troops went over there, according to Trump, we weren't there, but we were. I understand that, and then to come back and find out, whoops, made a bit of a boo boo, and it wasn't really, we weren't really supposed to be there. But I'm talking about if this country is being invaded. I'm talking about somebody's navy on the shore.
You talking about Green? What about Greenland?
Well, Greenland's nothing to do with it. You see, this is what I keep saying. Why are we going to war for other countries when we're on our arse here?
But Greenland's a NATO ally, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but I don't want to be in NATO. I just want to be a little self-sufficient island. I've said this time and time again. I want to go away from America, and I want to stop getting involved in other people's wars. I'm very sorry that you're having these wars, and I'm very sorry, but like when you go to the supermarket with your kids and you've got no money, and they're trying to get sweets, and you go, you can't have sweets this week. We'll get them next week when we've got some money. Can't go to war this week. We haven't got anything in the pot. Let's go to war when we can afford it. Let's just build this country back up to the Great Britain it was. Start, like you said, bringing back the pharmaceuticals into this country. We've got the recipes. Let's do it that way. Let's build it all up. Let's. Life shouldn't have a price. I don't care. The MRI thing was made here, yet it's been sold, and it cost a fortune to have an MRI. It was made down the road from me in Nottingham.
Wow.
And yet here we are spending thousands.
Yeah, Kresh, what is it you're saying there? Would you say we're only okay with fighting wars that we're confident that we can win? Well, 100%. We like, as much as we want to say we've been to Afghanistan, we've been to all those other places, like, these are places where we could confidently kind of, outgun these kind of people, like, confidently outgun them, blow them up, all the rest of it. If we was to, I wonder what I want to say to people, the other day they said that 40,000 Russians had died fighting this war. Would we be okay with 40,000 casualties fighting Russia in 1 month?
Do you know what I found out from history? You know how I go down these little rabbit holes? The UK is the only country to have taken on the Soviet Union on their own and won. Did you know that? 18 something.
Wow.
So I'll tell you, in the peninsula. I love going down these rabbit holes of we are a strong country. We did okay. People are going to say you colonized and you invaded a lot of countries. Yeah, that's history. Let's put history. What I'm talking about is showing the next generation. We had the generation that went to world wars, World War II. We had those growing up. We had those people that told us the horrific things that they went through and the horrific things they saw, but they did it for the freedom of this country. What's this generation got to look towards? Dads that run out, mums that are too busy flashing the bits on internets, and people poking each other with sharp things. I'm not saying war's the answer. I'm just saying we've got to show our children and the next generation. We've got to show them pride.
Yeah.
And
I feel like the only way you can actually group people together and actually get them on board, get them doing the right things, is with religion. Islam does a great job of it. Whether people like it or not, they group together. It's based on the foundations of a family, children, wife, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 wives, and I mean, who wouldn't exercise it? But to group a whole load of people together like that, the way you're saying, and start building up this sort of pride and stuff, you are starting to see a lot of groups trying to do it. All right.
I sent you a video. Can you remember the other day? UKIP are now it said UKIP have found God, and they are literally sort of being championed by the Christian faith.
All right, my mic's turned up, TikTok. You happy? Sorry.
Right, so UKIP apparently have found God, and apparently it was based on Christianity. So yeah, I some of these parties are jumping on the bandwagon. There are a lot more young people going towards Christianity, which I'm really, really very proud of you. But you've got to remember, we went to that rally and we saw those young people with no purpose. They were looking for someone to follow. They were looking for someone to guide them. Do you know what's wrong with the world where they can't look at home? You know, where there's no one at home that can
Yeah.
guide them. No
I,
one.
I feel like, you know, breaking down what we saw is we're okay. Are you back? Is this the good phone, by the way? Because this one has been crackling a little bit. Okay, Kitty will be back shortly, guys. She'll be back shortly. Don't worry, she'll be back. Let's go through the comments. People who take the way I should approach. People who will take the way I should approach. I'm not sure. By forgetting history, you're excluding the mass amount
Sorry,
of people.
it's because I'm on this phone, isn't it?
Oh yes, I think so. What's wrong with the other one? Is the other one not working?
Well, we said every time I use the other one, you know, the 13, I break up.
Okay.
So I'm using this one. I might have to switch it on aeroplane mode in future.
Okay.
But yeah, I think again we go back to that family unit, right? There's damage in that family unit, and to watch those young people walking around London looking for someone to follow, and then throwing out that salute. Where's the pride?
I think, you know, there's an element of white people, let's just call it as it is. There's an element of white young men feeling like they've been forgotten by society. So like normally buzzwords, what they normally say. And I feel like what they're doing is they're grouping together, they're seeing it, and, you know, they just want to be part of some sort of like gang almost, not gang, but, you know, part of a club almost, like just to sort of feel like that sort of sense of family and togetherness and stuff. I don't know what the answer is, because I feel like there should be one gang that thrives, and that should be a gang of people with adopting British values, you know. And when I say British values, what does that mean really? Being
Love thy
polite,
neighbour.
being polite, being friendly, all the kind of things that you would expect from a normal, good human being. Like, be a family person, have a wife, have some children, you know, contribute to society, like, you know, these kind of things. I feel like a bunch of these kind of people together, that will build good foundations within the country, like, you know. But we're losing out because people aren't looking after the children. The children are running the streets, like, basically. The children are running the streets. Like, I was speaking to a lady today, and she was saying to me, it's common for, like, up north, up your sort of area, for 14, 16-year-old girls to be bloated. Is it blotted? Blatted? I can't remember what word.
No idea.
I can't remember what word they used. Blotted or bloated, blatted or something like that. But it means wasted anyway. But it's common for young girls to be out drinking in the streets and all sorts of madness. And just like, you know, you can't blotto. Well done.
Blotto, yeah. Oh, I know what blotto is. Welcome to the 90s. Yeah, I just think we need to be, I say it again, don't I? I say this whenever I talk about the family unit. We are we need to be very, very careful, because we are the Dr. Frankenstein and we can create monsters. If we have children, it is our job to build them up so that they are the next generation, and these people are decent people. Unfortunately, we've got some absolute waste of space parents in this country that have had child after child, some of them taken into care, some of them they just don't care about. You know, you walk around some of these estates, or you drive around some of these estates, and you see them, and it looks like the forgotten people.
Yeah, it does.
And it's so sad, because in there could be a brain that could, you know, sort of cure something, or could be a great sort of army person. But these people are just, like you say, third generation benefits, and they just got no hope. They've got no help and go.
Yeah,
And it's so sad.
I mean, not all. I wouldn't want to shoot on all benefit people. I know generational benefit people, and, you know, they're not the sort of scumbag kind of people that you would see. Like, you wouldn't even know. Sort of, you know, they just have chosen not to work and have loads of children. And some people might say they're winning in life, like, you know, no stress, getting their bills paid, and they're having loads of children, contributing to society, bringing them into the world. The problem is when their children grow up, if they do exactly the same thing, then that's normally the problem. What we're talking about, like, you know, there's that cycle, that generation just goes over, and it doesn't really create much of a you can't just have a society of, you can't just say, right, I'm just gonna have loads of kids, they're gonna have loads of kids. None of us are going to work. None of us are going to contribute, and then the government are going to say, "Well, who's going to do these jobs then, mate? Who's going to work in these areas? Who's going to sweep the roads? Who's going to do all these jobs that no one wants to do that you lot are too good for?"
This is the big problem, isn't it? This entitlement. Well, why should I go to work? There are other people that will go for a minimum wage. But that isn't that the job of a parent to instill in their children that work is the way forward. Well, you know, you go to work, you earn a wage, you come home. I mean, I've just literally called Claire an absolute warrior, and I genuinely believe it. She's, you know, she's running a home, she's got children, she's going to college. She, you know, that is, you know, her children will be looking at her in awe.
For sure.
You know, and her children will grow up with that's how you win at life. You go and you work hard and you better yourself and so on and so forth. Instead of, you know, just teaching your children, well, if you pretend you've got a bad back or you've got mental health issues, you'll get PIP and you'll do this and you'll do that and you'll get this free and you'll get that free. Where's the pride in that?
No, and just, you know, my family always installed it. My mum used to say to me, you know, it doesn't matter how bad things are, you always go to work. Like, you know, you're not sitting. My mum used to call you, you're not going to be a benefit bum. That's what she used to say.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a bum on benefits. Like, you know, and that scared me all the way through. And you never wanted to be that guy. You know, you always want to have those sort of good, sort of hardworking values of like willing to go to work. But some people are saying that, you know, we're better off. We're generally better off having loads of children staying at home. We ain't got to worry about childcare. You know, we're getting everything paid for us. Like, you know, some people are making that argument, and it's difficult because, you know, you can see. I know people. Partner works, husband works, wife works, got one child. They pay God knows how much in childcare and stuff, but they never really get to see each other. Really, never get to see
No.
each other. One works. It's a really tough one, isn't it? The good old days of one income being able to sustain the house
Yeah.
seem to be over now. Like, you know, it seems to be you either none of your work, you get everything paid on benefits, but you literally just survive on the bare means. Or what you both work and, you know, you miss out on seeing the kid and all the other stuff. You've got to trust people looking after your kid. It's a difficult one.
It is, and I also believe that the benefit system is wrong in sort of penalising young mums or single mums that have got children, and then they demand they go to work for the 16 hours that they're giving them. You know, when is she supposed to do the housework? When is she supposed to go and get the shopping? Because, like you say, otherwise it's childcare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're only giving them 15 hours of childcare free at this age. So I think we might need to look at the benefit system if and when I take over the world, because I am thinking of doing it, because I am getting so sick and tired of this next generation and their entitlement, and they're sitting there telling me that they don't need to go to work, and then they're moaning because there are people coming over on boats and doing the jobs that they refuse to do. And these people are so happy to do it, and they're so appreciative of the work.
This is it.
Whereas
This is
I
it.
lot are just sat there going, I want to be a social media star.
Yeah, literally. And this is it. Like, you know, you've got people that would literally kill to be in our position, where we could have, even Americans, where we could
Yeah.
have free healthcare. You can go to work, like, you know, you can get help with childcare. Just, you don't have to worry about ICE pulling you over and shooting you. You don't have to worry about
Nope.
mass shooters. Like, on the rare occasion someone gets shot, it's normally crime related. You know, there's so many people that would literally. That's why ultimately, if you look at the stats, people that come from immigrant families, they're doing better in school. Like, they're surpassing, like, you know, especially white English boys. They are being left behind at the minute, you know. And this is what's making people angry. Like, you know, this is what's making people really angry. But you kind of have to raise your game. You can't just sit back and complain. You have to raise your game. You have to do more. And having the right two stable like, just the best thing you can do for your child is have a mum and a dad in the house. Like, you know, I know it's not always possible.
No.
You know, there's dirtbags out there that ruin it. Like, you know, but the best thing you can do for your child, even if you've got no money, is bring them up with a mum and dad in the house, and they know they've got the yin and yang, the yin and
Yeah,
yang.
like I say, there are parents need to do better. We need to do better. I'm a single parent through no choice of my own. Had I have been with, if I had have had the choice, I would have stayed for that 18 years. I'd have put the graft in. I'd have probably had separate bedrooms, but I'd have put the graft in so that my children, if that man hadn't have been the waste of space that he was, that my children would have had a father. It worked out better for them that he wasn't in their life because he was such a bad influence on them. So I'm speaking from a single parent point of view, but I wish I'd have had that second parent, that person that I could rely on, that person so that I could go and have a bath or nip to the shop or do something or go there or do. The nuclear family is breaking down so much, and it's so damaging to the next generation that all they're learning is you can have kids and go, or you can have kids and just expect mum to babysit or something like that.
Yeah,
Whereas,
that's an interesting one actually, because I was speaking to a Filipino lady. She's in her 60s, and she's talking about retiring from work. And I said to her, "Oh, so you're going to be going on holiday and relaxing, enjoying your life?" She's like, "No, no, no. I'm going to be looking after my grandchildren." And there's a pride in it. I said,
yes,
can you imagine telling the average 60-year-old woman now, a British woman, that yeah, you got to start looking after your children, your grandchildren, and blah blah blah. Most the British sort of opinion is normally, right, I've done my time now. It's your time now. Yes, I'll be there
again,
if you
it's
need
that
me.
entitlement.
I'll be there
It's
if you need me. But different cultures, this is why
yeah.
different cultures are different, because they don't see it as a hardship.
I,
They
I
see it.
just it's entitlement as far as I'm concerned. We think we've done our graft, right? It's time to retire.
It's time for
No,
me. It's time for me. It's time for Mama.
yeah, it's not. It's time to instill some pride and lessons for the next generation. Next generation. Don't get me wrong. My grandparents, I very rarely saw them. They wouldn't have, especially on my dad's side, they wouldn't have babysat for me.
Mm.
But my mum always made sure if she was going out, I had a babysitter that was always there. And she was always there for us, and my dad was always there if we ever needed him. We could go to him. There are some, I'm going to say, men that run out on children and just expect a woman to bring them up, and then when the child goes off the rails, it's her fault. How you ran off?
Yeah, that's a little scandalous. I don't know how these men are able to even do that. I do know this though, and these things do normally tie in. And sorry, but sometimes you have a 10 guy, a 6 woman, or even a 4 or 3 woman, and you deep down inside this guy is not your number one. You love this guy, obviously he's a top man.
Yes.
You love him and you want to be with him, but in his eye, unfortunately, especially in this day and age, people are really shallow, unless you're just an amazing person and it trumps everything. But people are really shallow. So if you've got this top guy, what normally happens is women sort of are having the casual sort of relationships on the higher levels, let's just say, on the top with the top tier kind of guy. And the guy from here, his perspective is, look, I'm only using you for you know what. But they're obviously not saying it. It goes back to yesterday's conversation about fake love bombing, lying to women, telling them, "Oh, yeah, you're my special one," and all this madness, just because you want to get some goodies off them. And women are falling for these. Women are, because they're the top guys.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to believe that this guy's too good for me. And it's not to say that in a shallow way either. It's just to say that, these kind of guys live a different type of lifestyle.
But my point to them is, if you were having the fun, whether she's done it to trap you, because a lot of lads use that whole, well, she used the kids to trap me. Whether she used those kids to trap you or not, those are your children. You were there at the conception, whether you like it or not, and it's time to stand up. The women mostly stand up because they're usually left with the children, but men need to start standing up. They need to start taking these children. Just because you are not in love with the mum, it doesn't mean you're not in love with that child.
Yeah.
Stop it. You are
Yeah.
damaging these children so much.
Or put something on the end of it, lads. If you're
Yeah, be responsible. If
this is the
accidents
thing.
happen, accidents happen. I get that. But even if accidents
I've
happen,
never heard of no accident happening. I've never the classic the thing broke, the thing popped. Normally it's oh, I'm on the pill, you'll be fine. Normally it's that, or it's just pure sort of
I'm not saying women are innocent in this. I'm not saying
lazy passion.
I am not saying that women are innocent in this, but what I'm saying is it takes two to tango. So if you were both there at the conception, it's time to stand up for the next 18 years and make sure that you are there for that child and onwards. Because let's face it, as real parents, you never ever stop sort of keeping an eye on your children, do you?
Yeah.
But I just think it's a lot of these men, and like you say, it's usually the top tier, they have these relationships and off they go and leave the children. It's not about you, it's not about the woman, it's about those children. And what we're seeing now is broken children with entitlement, with no one to follow. They've got no leadership. They've got no one to look up to, no one to aspire to, because parents are doing what they want to do. I don't want to like shit on parents, but come on. You created these children. It's time to stand up.
Yeah. See, there's two. This is a very interesting one, and it always gets heated with this one because you've got two things now. When it's just obvious, like when you see those the passport bros, the Caribbean brothers with the 70-year-old woman that looks like she's had some rough days along. When it's that obvious, and you have someone that you're allowing into your bed, like do you like, is there not anything that sort of says, right, this isn't right? Why does he want me for? Why does he want me? Why is he telling me that he loves me straight away? Like, most of the time it's either for the sex or the woman's got some money or it's a passport situation. But this is what's happening. You've got guys that are doing all types of women, all different types of women, and guys will put it through a keyhole, mate. I'm telling you, they will literally put it through a keyhole and they'll twist it till that lock unlocks or whatever. And your babies are being made, and men are having children accidentally with women that they despise, that they can't even stand to look at. Like, this is the brutal truth of it. Men will stick it anywhere. They will stick it anywhere. They will lie to you. They will stick it anywhere. And what happens is, if they do get you pregnant, they end up despising you, hating you, not even liking the sight of you, and let alone the thought of having a child with you. That is how these men feel. But I say this back to the men. Once the kid's there, You got to do your job.
Yeah, this is my point. And you were there at conception. It's like signing a contract. I'm sorry, dipping your wick, whatever you want to call it, is like signing a contract. If anything comes of that contract, you've got it. It's yours for 18 years, as Kanye said. 18 years. She's got you for 18 years. But I don't understand why you wouldn't want to be in that child's life. This is your child. This is your blood. These are your loins as such.
Because they don't like the women. This is what I'm saying to you. They don't like the women. They can't stand the women. They can't.
I didn't like my ex. I would have stayed.
No, 100%. I'm not saying that the men are right to leaving, but you're like, sometimes people wonder why there's so much sort of animosity with I say situationships, turn relationships, turn baby, accidental baby popping up. Like, these men, they hate the woman. Like, they generally end up hating them because, like, it just, in their mind, it was just an easy fling, an easy lay, and accidents happen. But if you're gonna do it, lads, like, I think you should be a bit more kinder. And I've said it already. Single mums, you need to leave them alone. Like, they need to be taken off the list. You need to leave single mums alone. You cannot be having a single mum as someone to just sort of play around with, or especially not. To be fair, if the mum says, if single mama says, right, look, I don't want anything serious. You don't want anything serious. I don't want to have loads of bodies. You're a good friend. Why don't we hook up regularly? And that's normally what happens. That's happening a lot. Like, you know, so the body count don't run up until things start. But what ends up happening? You have X with the same person over and over and over again.
Feelings
The
start.
feelings start, mate, because women, when it comes to sex, that's love. Men, sex, that's fun. Like, you know,
That's just sex.
Yeah, basically. And so it's a real tough one because some people say, what to say to the woman, why are you even having X with this guy for? What are you doing this for? Like, you know, and then the girl will be like, normally women will never tell you, they'll never tell their friends what it really is. Like, they'll never tell their friends that.
It's hope.
Yeah.
I think it's hope. I think they hope that they'll fall in love with them, that they'll be that good in bed, or they'll be that wonderful person, or they'll do that much for them, that they're hoping that that guy is going to fall in love with them. And sometimes it does work. Most of the time, no. No. And I think that is, you know, you was talking about these 70-year-old women with these younger men and things like that. I think that's what happens with them, because if a 30-year-old man came up to me and started, you know, like, and he was gorgeous and whatever, I'd think, what do you want from me? No. I wouldn't trust him. But there are women out there that trust them, and I can't get my head around that. Like, you can't. But don't you see that these men are using you, and they are blatantly using you? But they are hoping, and they live in hope. They all live in hope that they will be the story that the other women are telling. Did you hear about such and such? She met this 30-year-old bloke. They fell in love. And they lived happily ever after. Yeah. And I think that's what it is. I think a lot of women are living in hope that they can literally sleep a man into love.
All right. We've done the whole relationship situation. Let's go to our buddy. Let's go to our buddy Tommy. You know, he's been told off before. He's been sent to prison, and he thought it was a good idea. I think the backstory behind this is there's a guy. Well, I don't even be careful there. There's a person
transitioning man.
There's a person that's transitioning that has a special pronoun in a nursery, and apparently the children have been told off for not calling this person by their right pronoun. God, I'm getting good at being diplomatic like this. Jesus. Let's watch the video. And this is TR turning up to someone's house at 6 in the morning.
Do you think it's right? Sir, can I ask, do you think it's right? Can I just ask, do you think it's right that children are in trouble? I don't want to be horrible to you, sir. I just want to ask, do you think it's right that children are being penalised for not addressing you by mix?
I'm not here to any issue with the school needs to go off the head.
Yeah, but why are children being... They shouldn't be getting in trouble by addressing you as your correct pronouns.
That is horrible.
Do you want to go first, or shall I?
I don't know. I don't know if I even want to go first on this. Kitty, let me hear what you got to say first.
Firstly, I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be horrible, but sir, that was horrible. That was horrible. That was, you know, half the argument is the fact that these children aren't calling her miss, right? I don't believe in chastising children, especially if they're of nursery age. But as an adult, to antagonise someone at 6 o'clock in the morning, believe me, I'd have been throwing hands, never mind anything else, if you've woke me up at 6 o'clock in the morning with a microphone in my face. But to call him sir, he was raging. He was rage baiting. I'm sorry, Tommy, you've been told time and time again that you are not supposed to do this. And he's doing it. He thinks he's you know, that bloody rally went straight to his head. We said this, he'd get a God complex. He just thinks he's above the law all the time.
I would just say that, do you know, there would be nothing more scarier than someone with a following like TR has turning up to your house on camera, confronting you over a situation like that. That is scary. You know, yeah. Tommy's got Elon Musk's ear. Like, you know, he's got Trump's ear. Like, you know, he's got all these people's ears. He's got all that following, watching. Like, you know, he's put this person at risk, I would say, as well. Like, how could you turn up? How could you turn up to a teacher's house? That's that's evil. Why would you turn up to the person's house?
Knock on the door, say, can I have an interview? That would have been more polite. Not,
Off
sir.
camera, off camera.
Sir. Yeah, exactly.
Off camera, off camera, you would need to phone that person up and say, "I'm turning up." You cannot. Do you know? I've seen Tommy get confronted when he's with his children, when he's out and about. I can imagine what Tommy would have to say if someone turned up to his house, and which they have done, and which he's fearful for. He has to have security. Like, I would have thought someone with the sort of security concerns that he has wouldn't want to inflict that on someone else. To turn up at someone's house when you're TR with the following that you have is just mental. And over a situation like that,
Do I agree with the situation? No. Children are children. They are babies. They don't understand. If you look like a bloke, they're gonna call you sir. It's not. It shouldn't really be an issue. Just get over it. Wear your wig and transition into Miss next year or the year after. Just build it up slowly. Don't ram it down. 2-3-year-old children. That's unfair. Maybe have a conversation with them. Sir is now going to be Miss. Okay. That's it. You don't have to shout at them. But to put that poor woman all over social media with like you say, the following that he's got, you've put a target on her back. You've put a target because unfortunately, Tommy's got some very, very idiotic followers.
He certainly has, and sheep-like people. Like, we saw what happened during the Southport riots.
Exactly.
Between him, Nigel Farage, and AT. You had people. They've got people rotting in jail right now, mate. Rotting in jail right now. Like, people that get radicalized by their favorite by their favorite streamer, whatever. I've never I think you asked me the question: is there anyone I would ever sort of follow, any sort of celebrity or someone like that I would ever follow? And no. Like, Cristiano Ronaldo, probably one of the biggest sort of people back in the day, like not now so much, but back in the day, I used to love Ronaldo. Like, if he'd have said, yeah, it's time to go and burn down some bits and bobs, I'd have said like, hey, that's that, on your bike, lad. Like,
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I like your football, think you're great, but we won't be going there. That's the normal sort of human brain at work. What I wouldn't do, like you say, and go, oh, let's get the matches and start, pitchforks.
People threw their life away during those Southport riots. There are people in jail for 10 years, 4 years, like, and they're all shocked. Like, I was only protesting, mate. You were throwing bricks at the police. You patriotic, and it's so funny when the shoe's on. Like, you get the sort of, oh yeah, they're attacking our police officers. They, you do
it. You've done it. You've done it yourself. These people wear stab vests and bulletproof vests for a reason nowadays. And it's because of idiots like you. At the end of the day, you can't pick and choose what.
But you can. You can. It's literally whichever. Now, unfortunately, whichever freaking side pick, whatever narrative sort of works for your side, you're going to spin it. You saw people. You saw Republicans not able to. Some of them have. Joe Rogan came out and said this is wrong. Like,
Yeah.
There's some people are awake, but then there's some people that are just sheep. There are people that are benefiting from this on the right and stuff in America. Getting paid £50,000 signing up fee to join ICE. Like, I think most people.
I saw something the other day that some of these ICE agents haven't been paid.
Wow, well, that's another story. That'll be another story.
That actually made me giggle, and I thought, good.
That'll be another story. Yeah, because they got to shell out a hell of a lot of money. I think they said they want 10,000 ICE. They want 10,000 agents. They're looking for 50,000 a head. I mean, who's putting the bill up for that? Like,
exactly.
Who's putting the bill up for that? One of the questions that's been asked, moving away from TR, one of the questions been asked about our Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Will he stand and fight, or will he leave? And this apology thing that's just come out, let's watch it and then we'll talk about it.
I am sorry. Sorry for what was done to you. Sorry that so many people with power failed you. Sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies and appointed him. And sorry that even now You're forced to watch this story unfold in public once again. I am sorry.
All right, he's sorry. There sounds like some acknowledgement there. What we definitely know from these Epstein files and Epstein himself, is that we definitely know that little children were harmed.
Yep.
We definitely know that. Little children are harmed. That should be enough. And we definitely know that certain people, even after Epstein was found guilty of doing what he was doing, was still hanging with him, still trying to hang with him, still trying to go to these wild parties. So, in truth, I would say, if I go to a party and I walk past a room and I see young people in doing mad things, whether I like it or not, I am now an accomplice to this situation. If I don't report it, give names and do stuff, should anything come out, they're going to say Bruddc was at that party. And I ain't got a leg to stand on. But what we see here, I think obviously what's happened here is you've got some seriously powerful people that are above the law. That's just it. They're above the law. Like, you know, any reasonable, normal person, left or right, says there were children that were harmed. Everyone that was at a party, everyone that saw something, I want your name or you're going to jail. Just like it would be for you, just like it would be for me.
So my question is this, right? You're not telling me when did Epstein? Was it 2017?
Let's have a look and see. It was close. Jesus, it seems like it was ages ago. Let's have a look.
My point being
Yep.
that you're not telling me that the CIA or whoever, FBI, that've got all these files, hasn't had a look and saw that name, those names in that file, and contacted our MI6 or MI5, right? So MI6 and MI5 may have known what he was up to. So when Labour come back into government and we send Peter Mandelson over to be the US ambassador, where was the communication? Listen, you can't do that. This guy was messing about with Epstein, whatever, right? Where's the communication? So saying sorry right now is not good enough, because I don't believe that any of these ministers don't get background checks, because you are in the top tier. You're in the top tier of politics. You're not telling me, I mean, no, I'm not talking DBS checks. I'm talking background checks. I'm talking, we know what you had for breakfast. MI5 and MI6 do not play around. Let's be honest. So you're telling me that they didn't know he was on that list. That list came out ages ago. You know, it's been leaked so many times.
Yeah, August 10th, the 10th of August 2019, he died.
Right.
Well, Claire's put that she doesn't believe that he's dead, and there's a lot that goes into these sort of situations where they sort of, you know, apparently Michael Jackson's still alive. There's a whole load of these sort of little theories out here. Do I think the government would hide? Do I think the elite would hide things from us? Most definitely. Most definitely. Like, you know, do I think that they will do anything and anything to sort of keep the matrix above our head, like, you know, keep us looking through the world through their magnetic eyes, like, you know, they're sort of, oh yes, this lovely democracy that we all live in, where everyone's fair, you can be what you want to be. To an extent, that is true, but ultimately, if you get too powerful, you're in trouble. You join or you die.
One of the things that I noticed, because obviously when me and you were talking before we came on air, was that I did a background thing on the internet. He was the spin doctor for Tony Blair during the Iraq War, and he was known as I can't remember what they called him now anyway, but he was the guy that spun the Princess Diana thing. He was Tony Blair's spin doctor. This is what he's famous for, Peter Mandelson. That sort of says everything, doesn't it? That he was part of that spinning of the Iraq War.
Yeah, I would say this. People are looking at Starmer and they're saying, you know, with the Mandelson situation, oh, he knew him, he hired him, you know, he's been put in power, all these different types of roles. He's got to go because of association with him. do you think that not every like all the elites, like these elites, I believe that they're all involved. They're all at the parties. This is why Biden would, like, someone said the other day, Trump was at a party. Trump was on the list for God knows how long. If they really wanted Trump out of power, when what's his face was in, oh, my brain's gone.
Biden.
Biden was in, they would have just gone to the list and take it out and dealt with him. Like, why wouldn't you? It's no brainer. That you're in charge.
He was in court every week anyway, wasn't he? So you might as well throw that one at him while you're at it.
Yeah. I mean, we should. I like Claire said earlier. Why release only half the details? It's literally obvious. People are being protected on that list, and it just goes to show you guys, like, if you're an elitist, you can do what you want.
A lot of the children's names haven't been redacted, so the victims haven't been, and apparently they redacted it using Word, and so if you go to Word and you copy and paste it, the words are still there. It's some sort of weird thing. So people have been getting the full statements. This is so wrong. The victims. It's the victims I feel sorry for. The victims have been just literally hung out to dry, and here we are protecting the villains. And the likes of Peter Mandelson, I don't believe that Keir Starmer didn't know. I don't believe. To send him over to the US as British ambassador in 2024. Because even Trump's had to say, I didn't know that he was, because obviously he's worked with him because he's the British ambassador.
Yeah.
So,
do you believe Trump when he says he didn't know?
No, I don't believe anything that comes out of Trump's mouth. I don't believe anything until he says something that's so scathing, like he said to that woman the other day, I've never seen you smile. And and what did she turn around? Well, we're talking about victims of,
That
sex.
was horrible. That was horrible.
Yeah. So I'm not going to smile. But he was like, well, you're an embarrassment to your company.
She's a young woman.
No, babe.
I don't think
You're
I've
the
ever seen you
embarrassment
smile.
woman
I've known you
to
for
the company
10 years.
you
A few months ago, you had in your office here Peter Mandelson, the British ambassador.
I told him I'm going to come and take over the world.
Trade deal. He's today been forced to resign.
You're an embarrassment. This is about the victims of that man. The victims, not about you rich elites, but obviously it's going to be. These victims have lived for years knowing that they were trafficked and they were used and abused. That's if they're still alive.
Well, that Virginia girl, that did she really kill herself? Like, why would she want to kill herself? Like, this is the brutal world that we live in. I mean, the person killed themselves, Epstein apparently killed himself. Apparently the cameras died out and, he killed himself in that time. Like,
apparently so.
This is the real. Well, I think we're seeing snippets that maybe we don't live in La La Land as we would all like to think. Like, we all like to think we live in this lovely, civilized, democratic country, where you can choose, you can be this, you can do that. Like, to some extent for sure, but, the elitists upstairs, they pull the punches. They everything that's going to happen if Keir Starmer falls out and Farage goes in. Like, this is all their plan. Like, this ain't our plan. They have someone. They have their spinners already.
Peter Mandelson.
They have their people already setting the card for us, and they use the influencers to sort of help push people in the right direction. So it's the
story, the narrative's already there. It's like a script, isn't it? The script is already there. We know who's coming. We know, and like you say, people are starting to wake up. And like a lot of people have said in that, I go back to what we first started on. Why should I fight for this government? You're not fighting for this government for a start. Let's get that straight. You're fighting for the British people, and that's what I want people to understand. The government, I wouldn't raise a finger for, because they are just working puppets for the elite, as we know. By the way, neither of us, are suicidal. Just having this conversation. The likes of him, Jeffrey Epstein, he was just the puppet master, really, wasn't he? He was like the person that they would use to sort of
do you think
make things happen.
So do you think we should follow along with America at the minute? So, for instance, we're all part, like, we've got the NATO agreement. Trump decides he wants to attack Iran, which is probably the war's probably started already out there. You say people should be fighting for this country. So if Trump decides to go full on war with Iran, and God knows who else joins
None of our
in,
business.
should we be sending our sons and
No.
daughters to go and fight fight?
I told you I don't want to play with America anymore. I don't want to play. I don't want my kids to play.
So what wars would you?
Anybody that comes to this country,
But
anybody
anyone
that
harmed?
decides to attack my country, that's what I want to go to war for. I want us to be this little just start making us great again, and then we can go out and play with the others. But right now, we need to make this country great. We need to start building it back up. We need to start building up the people, building up the country, building up the industries and things like that. Maybe going out to Africa and helping those countries. China, building up the trade with China and Russia. We've got no business starting wars in Iran. It's none of our business over a religion that's nothing to do with us, over oil, over anything else. By the way, again, I will state it, I am not suicidal.
Yeah.
I just don't want to play. I don't want to play. I don't want to be sending my children
It
to war.
sounds like a tough situation for Claire and for them in Ireland, because they are, like from what Claire was saying, they are trying to stop them from doing their own, living off the land as they're doing. They are trying to stop it and import food in and all sorts of madness.
Well, the 1800s they tried that, and what did the world do? It sent a potato famine. We know that the elites have been doing this for years and years and years. When you try and do this, but I just want us to be great again. I just want the people to be happy.
Perfect words. Should we finish up on TikTok? Go live on TikTok, Kitty. I'll meet you over there. All right, guys on Facebook. Peace and love to you.